Hello YouTube, this is Shirley426, and today we have the review of the HG Gundam Virtue Trans Am version. So for some time I did want to try out the Gundam Virtue kit, the HG version, for quite some time, and I actually am still looking for the 1/100 scale no grade Gundam Virtue before the Master Grade comes out, so I can do a proper comparison when the Master Grade comes out. I'm still hunting for one. So I actually went to Gundam Ace yesterday, and they did actually have a Gundam Virtue, but this was the only one left. Actually, it was the last stock left, and so I decided to go for it. So obviously the main reason I wanted to get the original is to see the colors, but now this one isn't as bad as I thought. I'm actually starting to like the overall red color scheme going on here. And yeah, I'm actually really impressed by the kit because, once again, despite how fat it looks, there's actually, the joints are very stable. I don't really have any, problematic areas. I mean, there were technically a few loose parts, but those can be easily fixed. Alright, so let's get on to the review. So let's see what we got. So first of all, let's go over components. So first of all, you get the mobile suit itself, the Gundam Virtue itself, and you get multi-purpose hands for left and right. And currently on the right hand, I am holding one of the, basically the handles for the GN Bazooka. The way how they work is that there's a peg there, and you can pretty much plug it in to anywhere you want. So there's a second handle here to do the double hand pose. You can either plug the handle into the left section, onto the right section, or into the middle to hold it as a normal bazooka. I'll be demonstrating this later. And here we have another sticker here. Here we have a sticker on the bazooka, and obviously we get the GN Bazooka. Now, it's really hard to, I keep calling this the cannon, but technically the ones on the back there, these big canister looking things, are the GN cannons, while this one is the bazooka. So here's the bazooka. I was really impressed by the build here. I was expecting to do some parts forming when it comes to the full outburst mode, but no, you can pretty much do it on its own. Of course, mine is very stiff. Everything here is about stiff. So opening the cannon was very stiff, but it still works. And then pulling out the orange parts, the bottom section is okay because, I mean, it's a little bit tricky to pull out, but it still works. But the top section, as you just saw, it just slides out there. So the bottom section has like this locking mechanism on the bottom, but the top one is just there. So it's a little bit tricky. So every time I try to pose it, and then let's say the bazooka tilts backwards, sometimes it'll go back in like that. So that was slightly problematic, but still, I am really impressed by the design, the build, and color of it. And you technically get two beam saber effect parts here. I have one of the beam holsters right over here. Now the handles are actually stored inside the leg right over here. So if you see here, there's actually one stored. Let me see if you guys can see that. So there's one right over here, as you can see. Now putting them in it's actually pretty easy to put in, but pulling them out is actually kind of more difficult than you think. So I just took up one out just for the sake of, going easy on this review, because I've been actually, when I was trying to pull one out, I was actually struggling for 3 minutes. Alright, so that's that. And that's pretty much it for your basic components. And here is what we got for leftover pieces. So the only leftover pieces you get are some leftover polycaps. Nothing too special. And here is the sticker sheet. As you can see, I tried to use most of the stickers. The only ones I did not use are these two big ones that goes onto the back skirt. The rest I'll try to explain where they usually go. Alright, so let's see how this goes. Let's see, let me get it off the stand and see what we got. Okay, so I'm pretty sure when you show this Gundam to anybody, they're pretty much gonna think or call it the fat Gundam, and I think that's pretty much appropriate at this point. Now let's see. So starting with the head. Now the head was definitely a fun build, but of course there were some parts that I did not expect it to be like this, but still. So the head, the chin is actually a red color separated pieces, because that's a good thing, because I remember certain 00 HG kits always comes with red stickers for the chin, which I do not like. So the head is pretty good. I mean, it can go down that much despite how it looks, and then up that much. The only part you want to be careful is the top section here that holds the camera and the V-fin. The V-fin, because the camera actually goes inside this piece to give that illusion right over here. By the way, it can go up and down pretty well. 360, I'm not going to say it's possible because something is blocking the way. But the good part thing is that this thing also has a lot of clear pieces. And under the clear pieces are also some metallic looking stickers going on here. So if you want to make it look more show accurate, you can always color these clear parts like this one on the head, or these ones on the arms and etc., or especially the one on the chest. You can always color them in metallic green or clear green basically, and they will, and I personally think they would look good. Now the reason why I didn't color mine is that I did not think about it when I was building it, so yeah, bad on me. So yeah, the head is pretty good. Of course, there are some colors missing, like I believe there's supposed to be like a red strip here on the head, like how the Exia goes. So there are small details missing, but still it's good enough for an HG kit if you ask me. Alright, and here we have some antennas here for the on the side. So they also have these nub marks, but I kind of sanded them off so they can be folded inside all the way through, like, come on, like that. So I can fold them in like that. So in the manual they actually tell you to fold them in later. So yeah, that's kind of interesting part. Before we go to the arms, let's look at the chest. So you can actually open this section up for the full outburst mode, which I will demonstrate later. This part is actually pretty stiff once you get in the correct position, but still it works, and you can pull this section down. And here we have another clear piece, and under that clear piece also has a sticker, and it actually has some words on it. It's like Trans Am going on. So yeah, nice detail. Of course, I think mine is a little bit crooked on this onto the side, so if you want to have a perfect balance there, you're gonna have to do some measuring, but still I am satisfied with my work. Alright, so let's get the arms. The arms are pretty good. They actually can move forward and backward, but it's not only the shoulders that are moving. It's just actually the front body that is connected here that moves forward and backward. So that is also pretty good. And then now here we have the backpack going on here. So because of this back section here, I'm gonna say 360 is not gonna be possible unless you take this part off. So just gonna mention that right over here. So yeah, I'm not gonna even try. But if you don't have the backpack, 360 is possible, and you are able to go to the side, and we have your 360s twist on the entire arm. Going to the side is possible, and let's see how much bend it goes. Whoops. Let's see, and bend is, I would say, pretty decent going on here. Now I should mention that this kit does not, like unlike the Exia, this thing does not come with rubber parts, and I am really glad for that. And of course, because of that aspect, here we have one of those red stickers going on to become the cable effect part. So yeah, that's one thing here. So each on the arm. So before we go to the other main body, let's look at the backpack. So here we have the backpack that holds the GN cannon. So the backpack has some movements here. So you have this one that can go forward and backward. And since they are on the peg, you are able to rotate them a little bit like that, if you want to do so. And you can pretty much move this section up like this, up and down, if you want to do so. I mean, technically you have to. And then I'm just gonna pull this one out to show you guys a better for a better demonstration. So here we have a peg that connects to here, which is actually a polycap ball joint. So even though you have this thing onto the peg, let me just plug it in all the way. Something just fell out. Okay, so here's one of the problems. I would suggest that you glue the V-fin on there, because the hole there that's holding the V-fin doesn't look that great. So, and it doesn't really have a satisfying click noise, so sometimes it will pop off. But it's not too common to pop off, but it does happen time to time. So just letting you guys know. So once you have it on the peg, you still have some extra movement going on here, thanks to that extra ball joint going on there. And then here we can extend here to have the cannons actually out there. Definitely loving that gimmick. And problem number 2. Here we have the handle, and I'm just gonna say this, I've tested this. There is technically no way to actually get that hand inside this handle. I mean, if you work very hard, you could, but there's just so much little gap there, there's no way you can actually pull that off. So just mentioning that. So if you want to use this as like a real weapon, you're gonna have to like modify this or get a longer handle. So yeah, I'm not gonna demonstrate this one here. And also, for those who know, for the Virtue has this GN shield gimmick going on here. So each of these cannons, or even the ones on the back, on the legs, they have this extension gimmick where you can, extend and reveal or release the GN shield. So definitely liking that gimmick as well. So now this one's on the loose type, but the other ones are pretty stiff. And some of them actually give you a click noise once you collapse them. And everything, like these canisters right over here, they have at least 4 stickers. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4 stickers. So obviously on the other side, that's there's another 4 going on there as well. So I just wanted to mention that as well. Alright, so let's look at the main body. So the main body, I'm gonna say, let's see if we can go 360. 360 is actually possible, and this is an old kit at this point, so there is no ab crunch going on here. But then again, for a fat Gundam like this, fat looking mostly like this, I would say not having an ab crunch might be better at the first place. Now, let's get the waist. So the waist, here we have the back skirt going on here. Here we have the orange parts, and I say it's good enough for details going on here. Here we have another sticker, one, and then here's another red sticker here. And one of the stickers I did not use are supposed to go here. So they're supposed to cover up these 2 sections on the back skirt. I really don't like those type of stickers, so I did not use them. And when it comes to side skirts, usually side skirts would be, you would actually make the entire waist section, and then there would be like a peg on the side or a ball joint on the side, and you would slap the side skirts onto that peg. But in this case, the side skirts are actually connected to the back skirt like this. So there's supposed to be like a peg here, and there's a polycab inside there. So yeah, but despite that, you are able to move the side skirts a little bit onto the side. But yeah, it's not gonna move too often because this piece is actually really stuck in there. It's really stiff. Now, one thing I should just tell you is that I would not suggest to separate the front skirts here because they're just all wobbly. They don't really stay in place. Like, yeah, so I kind of regret cutting them off. But yeah, if you need the extra articulation, or if you just want them to move separately, go for it. But like sometimes it just doesn't look good because they're just wobbly all over the place. And if you're wondering, this red piece is a separate piece. Alright, so that's pretty much it. Now let's look at the legs. Okay, so the legs, they do not have any side swivels because they are the old style ball joint connection, which I think is still okay for this kit. And on the sides, we have another red sticker here because, for reasons. Because I believe the Exia actually had like a rubber piece, I believe. I could be confused with the Masquerade, but still. But since this one does not have any rubber pieces, so you have to go with a sticker there. So the legs are very fat, very fat legs going on here, and because of that, even it does collide with the front skirt a lot. So you can't really go 90 degrees or backwards 90 degrees at this point because there's a lot of stuff blocking the way. But yeah, despite that, and the bend isn't that great because of the overall design. I'm trying to force it more, but it's not going more at this point. So yeah. And once again, here we have one of those canisters going on here. So here's another sticker, 1, 2 here. And you can always pull them out to give that extra, GN shield effect going on here. Now, to give it an extra more detail, I would suggest that you color these inside lines a bit into green or yellow. I forgot the exact color of the mechanism, but I think it was green but still to give it extra, detail if you want to do so. And on the front here we have 1, 2, 3 more stickers on each leg. So that's another 6 on the entire leg. So yeah. And here we have the feet. They're just your typical ball jointed feet going on here, and they have a pretty nice pivot because of the ball joint. So that's pretty much it for the legs. Alright, so very simple gimmick going on here. I really love the bulky look, definitely liking, and I'm really glad the overall joints are very stiff. Now there are some parts that I would like to fix, like one of the V-fins would be definitely one of those parts. I'm thinking I'm going to glue that in here. Now there are some clear parts that might pop off because for me, I actually sanded them a little too much. So I had to actually glue this one on a little bit. So I actually applied some glue onto the side, and yeah, it got in there very clean. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the basics of the kit. So yeah, I'll be right back with the first demonstration, which is the full outburst mode, which I really like. Okay, I'm back. So here is one of the poses that you're probably going to at least do once if you buy this kit, is basically the full outburst, the maximum output cannon shot from Gundam Virtue, because obviously Gundam Virtue's biggest strong point is the firepower, so obviously you're going to try this pose at least once. So doing this pose isn't as difficult as you think. So currently, because the joints are very stable, the handles here stick onto the cannon or on the bazooka very well. You don't really have any problems. Of course, the only issue that you might have is that the fact that the front section of the cannon, opening this, or at least on mine, was very stiff, so it's really hard to open. And then the top part, unlike the bottom section, there's no really locking mechanism. So every time you're trying to get in the right position and you're trying to move it, something like that, this thing will go back inside. Hence, you'll have to pull it out. And sometimes while pulling this thing out using with tweezers or something, you might actually touch something on the kit and something might pop out. So yeah, this is the only problem I have. Doing this pose is no problem at all. Although, if there's one thing I would like to see, especially from the Master Grade, is that, when it comes to like these type of poses, there's other than the handles, there's nothing actually like holding the cannon or connecting the cannon to the main body. Because for this to happen, they actually do tell you to open up the hatch here and then match up the middle section, but it doesn't really actually plug in there. It's just right in front of it. And also, in terms of the manual, they tell you to pull the handles all the way back and put the cannons all the way front to do this. But yeah, in order to and if you want to put that over there, you're gonna have to bend the arms a lot. But I try to do that, but it's not that easy for me to do that. So which is why I just tend to just push the cannon all the way back to make it look better. I mean, because I don't think the GN Bazooka, I think it looks better when it looks actually more shorter compared to being more longer like this. So yeah, this is just me. So why does this keep popping out? But still, you get the main idea of how this works. So doing this pose is actually way easier than you think, as long as you can get, you know, everything correct on position. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this pose. I'll be right back with the next demonstration. Okay, I'm back with the final demonstration regarding the weapons. So here we have one of the beam sabers out there. It just plugs into the hand and you should have no problem at all. And I think I forgot to mention that you do also have a nice 360 rotation on the cannons on the back. I forgot to mention about that, but I think at that point when I mentioned there was a peg and a polycap ball joint, I think that was pretty obvious. So other than that, I also pretty much opened up all the GN shield canisters. So yeah, they actually do look good when they're opened up. And you are able to hold the GN Bazooka with one hand with no problems as well. And yeah, each of these handles actually have another joint here, so you can move the cannon up and down or reposition them as well. Because technically, those are mostly used for these parts as well. So holding the cannon or repositioning the cannon in both hands. And yeah, I forgot if it wasn't really obvious, these parts also move up and down as well to fold up when you're not using them in both hands. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the review. So the HG Gundam Virtue, I'm actually really impressed, and I actually really enjoyed this kit to the point where I actually now want to try out the HG Gundam Seravee at this point. So yeah, I think that, yeah, Seravee. Although I am aware that there are 2 or 3 versions, because of including I'm not sure if there was a Trans Am version, but I know there are basically 2 versions. There's one is the basic, the other one that actually has more extra stuff on it. Now I'm pretty sure, like, I'm gonna have to go with the one that's obviously available at the shop, but still, because of this kit, I definitely want to try out the upgraded version as well. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the review of the HG Gundam Virtue. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. I hope my review was actually helpful to you guys. And I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews out, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time.